these really weren't worth the wait. So following on from the video last week looking at half of Wave 3 of McFarlane's Batman Retro series, the final two figures showed up today. It's the boxing Riddler and boxing Batman. Now, so far in this McFarlane line, I have been pretty happy with the figures in terms of quality, the way they look, the price point, etc. Very critical of the way they're sold, but that's another matter. The Penguin figure was the first figure that I wasn't particularly happy with, and sadly that theme continues with these two. Up until this point, I've had no real issues with the quality of the figures, with the exception of Batman and Robin's cape being cut quite poorly. But this time on these figures, I'm seeing some pretty poor paint applications, and we'll get to those shortly. So, as always, standard front to the card back, and of course the back does show the character you're getting. Not really much to say other than it's the basic Riddler figure we got in the previous wave with some shorts, and the hands have been replaced with boxing gloves. Again, I'm amazed at the likeness to Frank Gorshin in a figure of this price point. They've done a fantastic job. And the figure itself, I mean, it looks good. It's a nonsense that they're doing it in this way, that they take a normal figure they've done previously and just stick a couple of extras on and add it to a wave, but it is what it is. However, this is the first time in this wave that I'm seeing some pretty awful paint applications on the shorts. Do the close-up so you can see that for yourself. Aside from that, it looks okay. I mean, do we need a second Riddler so soon after getting the standard Riddler? Not really. I guess they're just trying to get the most out of these molds, and if by adding some shorts, in fact it's just really the upper leg that's been that's different from the previous figure, and the hands, these are just different hands that have been stuck on this time with boxing gloves, and the paint application on these is okay, not great. The Riddler on the belt looks reasonably okay, but overall just the painting on this is not the best. Onto Batman. Again, this is what, the fourth Batman already. Oh, should mention as well the speech or the text bubbles that came with Riddler. Terrible colour scheme. We've got like brown and green that says ouch, and yellow with orange that says wham, and they just do not look particularly exciting in those colours. So Batman again, standard, everything about it as it was. The only thing that changes on these card backs is the picture here. Batman himself, what can I say? I've looked at this figure 4 times now. Exactly the same as the Surf's Up. In fact, just happened to have Surf's Up here. And the shorts are exactly the same. The painting on the utility belt this time is really bad. They've done it black, and it's just not at all done well. Obviously, I'm not privy to how these things are painted, but I think a blind kid could have probably done a better job than this. Sadly, they didn't learn about the capes. Now, in the very first video I did on this line, I highlighted the fact that the way the capes had been cut was very bad, like terrible in fact. And with all 4 of these different Batmans, the cut is still just as bad, so they haven't done anything to change that, unfortunately. So yeah, very disappointing, it has to be said. And the fact of the matter is, we're now 3 waves into this line that is not even a year old, and we already have 4 different Batman figures, all with slight changes to them, as I struggle to get this one to stand up. Fortunately, these do have the peg holes that the other 2 figures from this wave do not have. But again, these are just, you know, recast from the previous figure, so that's to be expected. In terms of this line going forward, I think we're probably at the end of it, to be honest. There's not a great deal they can do more. I would like to see Batgirl and, you know, either a Lee Merriweather or Julia Newmar Catwoman, but that's probably unlikely now that they've given us the One Eartha kit. Villain-wise, I don't know what to say about this because Figures Toy Company proved that they can do some really interesting characters. I mean, they gave us like Egghead, Shame, King Tut, etc., even Bookworm, so it can be done. Whether or not McFarlane will do that is another story. Commissioner Gordon, I believe there is an issue with his estate, which is why Figures Toy Company couldn't give us that one. But Chief O'Hara was done, so that could be, and I guess it would be nice to get an Alfred and the Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. Given that they've already done the maskless Batman and Robin, that's a distinct possibility. There's been no mention of any other vehicles or playsets. Batbike would be nice. And if they gave us the Batgirl, they could always give us the Batgirl bike. But I think, in all honesty, this is probably the end of the line. And if they're going to keep giving us, or insisting on giving us, a Batman in every wave, how many more Batman can they do? It's quite ridiculous to think that in a line that's not even a year old, there are already 4 different Batmans. But it is what it is, I guess. And the fact that we got any of these classic 66 Batman figures at all does make me happy. I'm not trying to be a real downer on this. For the most part, I am very happy with this line. It's frustrating the way they are recycling these casts far too much. It's kind of taking the piss at this point, but hey, Wave 3 now complete. Not the best, but there you go.